Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm delighted to be here and get a chance to share some work with you. You can see the title, the very long title for this talk, because I've had a long career. So in preparing for this, actually I came across a paper that Jeremy Rappelli sent me by Ono Fumio on the salience in the Kyoto School of Philosophy of the concept of Rinsho. I hadn't been aware of this before, but let's just look at some quotes here. The effort to philosophize in ordinary language by philosophers who inherited the tradition of the Kyoto School have recently been made in the development of the idea of the clinical, or Rinsho. They all intend to express their theoretical and practical activities as clinical. So I won't read them all. I'll give you a second to look at them. Are these familiar ideas here in Kyoto? Does anyone know Ono Fumio? So the top here, it's this connection of theory and practice intrigues me. And the third quote there, the connection to everyday life. It's always hard to know how much time people need to read. Is that enough? So I begin with these quotes because they introduce a key tension I've been struggling with throughout my career as an anthropologist who studies Japanese early childhood education. As I was reading this essay by Ono, it occurred to me that my ethnographic research can be considered to be a form of Rinsho Kyoiku. Ono Fumio points out that several leading figures in the Kyoto school were clinicians, including the psychoanalysts Kimura Bin and Kawai Hayao. Perhaps my attraction to research grounded in clinical practice can be traced back to my personal history, growing up as the son of a psychoanalyst, and then being mentored early in my career by the psychoanalyst Doi Takeo, whose work on Amai grew out of his clinical practice. So Ono points out that the notion of Rinsho challenges the theory-practice binary. Such questioning with theory-practice binary is the key theme for my talk. I'm going to employ in my work, I employ some well-known Japanese and Western theorists, but only in small doses. The kind of theories I emphasize instead are those which are located in the practices and beliefs of practitioners, and which are often tacit and embodied. In this talk, I'm going to give examples of methods I've used in my studies to elicit and elucidate these tacit embodied constructs. I'm also going to reflect on what kind of effects work like mine hopes to produce, both for non-Japanese and Japanese readers. We anthropologists have a saying, anthropology makes the strange familiar and the familiar strange. Following this dictum as a researcher, I present my non-Japanese readers with the meaningfulness of aspects of Japanese educational practice that at first strike them as strange, and then I strive to defamiliarize their taken-for-granted assumptions about teaching and learning. At the same time, this work may have the effect for Japanese readers of coming to see familiar educational practices in a new light. Okay, so that's the beginning, my task I'm giving myself.